depth of your push-up.
That is all about your core stability, being able to maintain that body position. The tighter you are, the stronger you are in your midline, the more you can keep that head neutral.
Take a look at Mayhem Justice here. One of the 3 Mayhem teams competing out of Cookeville, Tennessee.
That head position really important. The quicker you get your head position right underneath your torso, the easier this movement is going to be. Once fatigue kicks in, that neck and that head position just seems to stick out just a little bit more. Now, arm position is an important thing to talk about as well. Athletes can put their hands wherever they want to. Normally, we've got a box for our hands to go inside. At this stage, we can go wherever we want.
Where you put them?
For me, I'm going probably a little bit wider than I normally do a handstand push-up, but maybe grip the side of the block to be able to propel myself.
I like to go corners. I'd probably go corners just to be able to have more torque in my shoulders as well.
Not to state the obvious, these are clearly more strenuous than a typical handstand push-up, and I think we saw them maybe a little bit more devastating in Heat 1 than you might have thought, or maybe than the athletes expected.
What's so challenging is when you are touching your head to the ground, you have that feedback, you know where you are, but just the first couple of reps with the adrenaline kicking in of the event, it's really hard for these athletes probably to know exactly where you are. You don't want to go lower than you need to, but it's really hard to know if you don't want a no rep either.
And I think you made the point of when you touch your head to the ground, typically a handstand push-up, even a deficit handstand push-up, you cannot do that here. That is a no rep. So you are suspended in the air throughout the entirety of your handstand push-ups. That puts an incredible amount of strain and strength in your shoulders. This event is presented by Monster Energy Hydro. That is the official energy drink of the 2022 Global CrossFit Games.
So Rouse doing a magnificent job right now and getting stacked. Now we talk about stack position. We go back to our level 1 for our 9 foundational movements. We've got our shoulder press, then we go into our push press, push jerk, and then we move on to our position upside down where we can support our body weight in a safe position. And then we progress, and the progression for the handstand push-up has got harder, the difficulty even more the more years we get into the CrossFit Games. Let's see what Adrian Bosman has in store next for these teams, but that is just magnificent.
Solid body position, he's keeping his legs together. He has complete control of his body.
It's Alexander Sagasti. Just good for him to get to the games. In 2019, he had some visa issues. The nerves gave him an ulcer. He had a hip injury that he aggravated right before he got to the games. He was not in great physical shape. Still made it through first cut, but he said event 2 wrecked him. So to get a chance to come back here.
Thanks for 10 rounds.
Well, he definitely won't need his hips in this one if he keeps going like that.
Hey, what give it, take it away, or vice versa, right? And the shoulders are stronger. Done with the handstand push-ups before their female counterparts are done on the bike. And Surround's now advancing to the rowing and the handstand hold. Both athletes rowing linked on these sliders. It'll mimic just like rowing on water, just like you're in a crew boat. You must stop rowing and re-rack the paddle if the feet come down from one of your female partners. Communication key on the left side of your screen. Someone must be in the air at all times.
Already some early no reps. And the hard part, if you aren't used to maintaining yourself within that box, is that sometimes your partner has your legs kicked over. You don't want to kick them and knock them over.
You've got a handstand ball. People are used to doing a position of support where you're going to a target. Now you're sitting on one spot and you've got a box, you've got restrictions. No reps now really starting to creep in, so getting that position and being able to communicate with your partner at the same time, proving very difficult for a number of these teams.
Good transition there on the left side of your screen with Yoda Tenza kicking down, Ninkiman Overveld kicking back up. Same thing, you just saw it again right there. Surrounds has this locked in.
They are looking really sharp.
Ninkiman Overveld was an addition to that team late. Boy, Hanamoyo was actually competing with them in the offseason. They needed a replacement. They DM'd everyone in Europe They found Nitkavan Overveld. She came with them to the Madrid CrossFit Championship. They loved the chemistry. Only one on the team that doesn't speak Spanish. So Alexander Sagasti does the translation for them.
That's a lot of DMs. Everyone in Europe. Wow. They're expanding in Europe. They're loving CrossFit in Europe.
The only requirement was you cannot have your hands down on the floor waiting to do a kick-up. So while they're kind of watching and listening, they're able to be in a hinge position, but they cannot be touching the floor.
Talk about communication with the teams. The judges working just as hard with their communication. Telling the athletes to stop rolling once the athletes aren't getting that transition nailed. Smooth that time. A little bit of a bend in the elbow and shoulder. So whatever support you need to do. Now balance on your hands is important. You know that the fingers playing an important role. Gripping the floor and keeping that arm well and truly planted.
Number 5.
But if handstand push-ups and if this is your weaker movement, then obviously they're going to be taxed coming into this hold. And you can stay within that box. So for some people, that static hold is so demanding, the isometric, and for some people, they'll dance a little bit. Oh, had a little bobble here on the screen. It is close, like you said, though, Jeremy. It's not as much when they're upside down as when they come down in which direction they fall.
A number of shoulder taps that you can do in that position, whether or not you're supporting on the wall, your feet are on a box. This is mimicking that perfectly. Just trying to get those hands into position. Judges working overtime.
Then you're looking at Kilo 2 on the right side of your screen, Zaraut's on the left side of your screen. Zaraut's has actually fallen from the ranks of the top 3 at the moment. Mayhem Justice very yeomanly working their way up here into a tie in first place. 43 reps on each side.
We spoke about this before with the slide, Antonio, and you and I jumping on. You were up the front, I was at the back. You setting the pace, but at the back, I was having to work my stroke length and power off yours. I'm telling you what, when we did get out of sync deliberately, it was all over the place.
As soon as you stop, it's so hard to get yourself back in that position, and under the pressure of needing to push, you want to go a little faster together.
Halfway done.
The Swedish squad transitioning back up.
And at 45 calories, you are released, or 45 reps. You have hit the appropriate number of meters on the row to run back to the bike and start the second round through. So the male athletes will now begin another 40 cals on the Echo bike, while the females tackle these 15 deficit block handstand push-ups.
Justice also done.
A much faster heat already than heat 1.
It's about 20 seconds difference.
We're approaching that halfway mark for the time cap. 18 minutes.
Nordic on the left side of your screen, Kilo 2 on the right side of your screen. Nordic is a repeat team from these games last season. Began today's competition in 22nd place. Finished 9th last year. We do have some returning athletes from that team, including Antonia Foltko-Linsky, who is the team's captain. The 2 men are Alex Alembro and Eric Rubio.
You mentioned it before that it makes this so damn hard. You have no perception of where your head is in open space.
Mayhem Justice now in first place for the first time.
You need to know just how far you gotta go down. In this case,
Second time through here. We're at the top of the list with the 40 cals and the 15 push-ups.
Event number 6, the team's handstand machine. You're not kidding. So 1 round complete already, but 40 Echo bike cals for the men, 15 block handstand push-ups, the new standard for the females. So they will go back and swap. The females will do 30 Echo bike calories, the men 20 block handstand push-ups, and then head on to the concept 2 slide rowers. While your other gender pairing is doing a handstand hold. So 500 meters required from both pairs.
And it's also 40 cals, so those don't necessarily happen in sync.
Our time to beat is that cap +1 set by CrossFit Trondheim. And the way the cap works is for, if you get time cap, every 15 meters completed on the rower by the pair equals 1 rep.
I know the sliders are linked together. Can you imagine the echo bikes linked together? So if you're struggling, your partner has to take over and do more work.
I'm trying to figure out how that would work.
I would love that.
That sounds horrible. I don't like them when they're separate. I said this again in the first heat. I still think the hardest part of this movement, watch as Seth Stovall moves into this position, that trust to pull that second hand up onto the block. Having the shoulder strength, having your body awareness.
I like the fact how they're not rushing to get into position. The demo team in the briefing earlier and on the floor here, taking plenty of time. So hopefully these teams have taken notice. As that fatigue kicks in, oh, that's a great position.
Ben Davidson there.
That one not so good, just because that head started to tilt down towards the end of the arena and away from his body. The quicker you can get that position of your head or your face close to that plexiglass. Beautiful position now. Mayhem Justice doing very well, getting that head below that line, 3.5 inches.
It's smart. He did, Seth Stovall did a 6 rep the first time there, about 3. And all he needs is Ben Davidson to come in and just give him a breather.
Did you see the save? Ben Davidson's left leg came off the plexiglass, and he did a great job to recover. He's a great individual athlete. His teammates joked, they said if you looked at him, he looked like he would be here, but he is sneaky fit. He actually competed in the individual quarterfinals and would have been a backfill to individual semifinals had he chosen to do that.
The men are holding strong right here, and I'm really proud because it's really their ladies, and it's their ladies' ability. Aniston Sudolf, the gymnast, she has been known to do 50 unbroken handstand push-ups. This is her ability to shine and just help the team out. So if the men can kind of hang on here and do their part, they're looking great.
Think about if you're known to do 50s unbroken handstand push-ups. Not that you did it once, but it's like, oh yeah, Aniston, the one who knows the 50 unbroken handstand push-ups.
We're going to extend that lead across Fifth Nordic. Inverted now. And they're freestanding
Nordic
handstand.
on the move, all by the lonesome. Top of the screen.
And now joining the party is Oslo
Oslo red for the first time in this heat we'll talk about. They've joined in lane 3. Mayhem just as bottom of the screen. They are now on to their second round of rowing. This is 500 meters for men. They can only row while one of their women has their feet up in the air for a freestanding handstand hold.
Nordic, top of your screen, holding tight. Aniston Sudolf, the bottom of your screen, orange shoes. For Mayhem Justice, here they are. This is the communication. This is the awareness. Teammates going to take over before it's too late.
Good job by Jessica
Nice
Croatian there.
transition there.
Time count's coming up in about 4 minutes time. We're going to get some finishers here in heat 2.
We sure are. And synchronization of this group. Nordic doing a wonderful job. And the position that you couldn't see, Tanya, when you were on the slide rower. If you watch the scapulas, back of the shoulders of the athlete in front, you can actually pace the strength of your ball and your timing of your row.
Like Kevin said, if you can watch the scapulas there, you can see when they stay tight, they start to engage. That's when the back athlete needs to start their pull. And really, Jeremy, you and I, we were able to get that together. It wasn't that hard. It really was just the startup. And so that's why it's punishing if they have
5
any
seconds
stops in this one. So otherwise, rowing together wasn't as bad as what it may appear. The start is though.
I like that the stroke as well. It's really important.
We get our first switch. The men down to the handstand hold for Nordic.
30 seconds.
Women onto their 500-meter row. And they have 3 minutes to do it. Nordic is going to finish. The question is going to be how quickly. Michaela Norman rowing in the back, and Twania Feld-Konolinski rowing in front.
You say 2 minutes for a rough 500-meter row. Nordic have got so much time and they can really push this row
10
I
seconds.
wasn't rowing it that hard, timer on yours. I was rowing at about a 146.
Five.
It's a fairly comfortable pace to be rowing at.
2,
The ladies here will be looking at roughly 145 to 150 to finish this out with a little bit of fatigue.
Mayhem Justice also now rolling with their women. So too is Oslo Purple Red. So 3 teams right now are on their final set of movements.